doing, man?
Hey, Rick, how are you?
Good, good. How's everything up in Pennsylvania?
Things are going good. Weather's good. Beautiful day today. How about down in Dallas? Everything
Man,
okay?
it has rained for a solid month down here. We've actually been dry the last 2 days, but it's supposed to start back up this afternoon. And man, I tell you, I haven't seen this kind of rain in the month of May and June in Texas and maybe ever. I mean, the lakes are overflowing, but hey, I'll take it. I'd rather have too much rain than not enough. I've seen it the other way around. So, but
Yeah, you
other
guys have had tough weather. You've had a tough start to the year with the weather, for sure.
it has been the craziest weather year I can ever remember. That deal we went through in February with the what we call Iceageddon and we're still kind of coming out of that to some degree. We're still reworking the whole electrical infrastructure in this state, and plumbing problems continue to crop up even months after that. So yeah, that was a weird deal. And then of course the spring's just been really wet. So and it hadn't even gotten hot here yet. Normally by this time of the year it's hot, but it's so far we barely get out of the low 80s now. So
Wow.
anyway, but hey, work is good, life is good, so I'm not going to complain at all.
Well, hey, I wanted to just start real quick by thanking the MCAA for having me on to represent J.R. Smith, Morris Group Company, and thank you for taking the time.
No
Appreciate it.
problem, man. Love doing it. So why don't you, just to get things kicked off, why don't you give us a little bit of background on J.R. Smith? Give us, kind of a brief synopsis of the country history and how did it get started?
Well, I'm newer to the company. Been on the Smith side about a year, and then been with Morris Group, the parent company, for a couple years before that. But the history, as I understand it, in 1926, J.L. Smith, who was a salesman for National Lead Company, saw a need for brass and bronze specialties, so he arranged to have those products manufactured, and that's where Smith began in 1926. In 1933, so it started in New York, and then in 1933 it moved to New Jersey, and in 1979, J.L. Smith, who was third generation in the business, he moved the company to Montgomery, Alabama, where it is today. Unfortunately, later in life, Jay was stricken with Alzheimer, and he actually reached out to a friend, Don Morris, who's actually president and CEO of Acorn Engineering. But Don's family actually started a company called Earl L. Morris Company, or Elmco, and he was the Smith rep for 60 years.
Okay.
And so they had a long-term relationship, and he reached out to him, and Don actually partnered in the business in 2010.
Perfect.
And yeah, so he tied into the business in 2010, and he's CEO of the company, and he partnered actually with Jay's daughters, Dr. Holly Roth and her sister Debbie, who's actually
Okay.
fourth generation Smith family. So it's all family run. And in 2012, we kind of rebranded J.R. Smith into Morris as a Morris Group International, and J.R. Smith is a company underneath the brand of Morris Group International.
Yeah, I was not really aware of that, and I was going to ask you what the relationship was there, and was not aware of that until I kind of started doing a little bit of prep work for this interview. But yeah, I've gone to the Morris Group's website, and boy, there's some cool stuff on there to kind of navigate through. So give us just an overview of J.R. Smith and the Morris Group's products and services.
Yeah, Well, from a product standpoint, we're 28 divisions, and it's really, to explain that, I want to kind of go into the different channels. So within the plumbing channel, we have water control businesses, and inside of water control businesses, we have connected control valve systems, which will tie to the BMS, and a complete control valve offering. We have safety equipment. We have safety equipment for emergency eye wash, emergency shower, those type of things. And then we also have energy efficient electric tankless water heaters. So that's kind of everything that brings water to the fixture. And then we have plumbing fixtures and access systems. And within those, we have Murdoch water coolers and bottle fillers. And those are both indoor and outdoor. And that's a pretty hot item for us with the COVID and everybody trying to go to touch-free. So, touch-free bottle fillers has been a big product for us. And then inside of the fixture line, we also have Whitehall, which is a strategic product for us inside the healthcare and rehab line. And they make various different fixtures along that. And then kind of the core where we got started was our Acorn hand washing systems and institutional fixtures. So Acorn's been the longest running brand inside of Morris Group outside of J.R. Smith and Murdoch. So that's been around forever. And then we have our drainage package. Inside drainage is obviously J.R. Smith with our cast iron, floor drains and carriers and roof drains. And then we have a bunch of different trench systems. Inside of the trench drain, we have polypropylene, polymer concrete, cast iron, stainless, so a very complete system. And then a really cool product inside of our drainage offering is vacuum drainage. So vacuum's kind of special. We featured it in the MCAA roundtables as we were doing earlier in the year in the virtual conference we participated in. And what that allows you to do is take your drainage system vertically and gives you complete design flexibility because you're not taking it underground. So you actually have your drainage pipe under a vacuum. So works very different, but gives you a lot of flexibility. And then we have fire protection businesses. So our fire protection businesses include Larson, which is a fire cabinet company. We also have Potter Romer and Fire End and Croker, which we acquired this past year. And that's pretty much a complete fire protection package across the board. So that's kind of all of our core plumbing products. But then we also, part of the 28 divisions, we also have all of our core manufacturing facilities. Those are located in California, City of Industry in LA, in Chino. We have manufacturing in Montgomery, Alabama. We have manufacturing in Mexico as well. And then the other part of the 28 companies, we have sales rep businesses. So the Elmcos are still going, as I referenced earlier. The Elmcos are based in California, Arizona, Nevada. We have companies in Canada and overseas in the UK and the Middle East and Australia. So it's a big package. Hopefully that gave a little bit of clarity, but it's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot for sure. Yeah, I was kind of looking at the Morris Group's website, just kind of playing around and noticed that, they've got some tools on there that, I kind of was cruising through the specs that you can actually go in and download in Word format, specs for a bunch of the different products, and so, we do a lot of heavy design assist, borderline design build stuff. So that's a resource there that I didn't know it was out there. That's fantastic, tool for us to be able to use in the future. That's really cool. But man, that's a lot of stuff for sure. So
it's nice. It's nice on the website. You referenced it. Is you can go across all the multiple products, select everything, pull a complete submittal package across multiple brands, pull complete Revit files, ITM model files, and drop them into your design. So it makes it really easy when you're doing a design assist or a design build type project.
Yeah, that's, and sometimes I don't think contractors take advantage of what's available out there from, manufacturers like, you guys. I mean, it is, there's some powerful stuff out there. It's almost like, we as contractors need to do a better job of just doing some research and going to, like J.R. Smith's and Morris Group's websites and seeing what's available out there. It's easy to get kind of stuck in a kind of an everyday continuous, this is the way you do it, and not really take advantage of some of the tools that are out there. So maybe that's something, you guys can kind of highlight at the next convention when people come around to your booth and really show them what resources are available out there. So
Yeah,
some
for
good
sure.
stuff for sure.
It's a big initiative to get the education out on all the tools that we do have. And, this Zoom culture we've been in since COVID, that's helped a little bit. And we've kind of sharpened our pencil around being able to get out and get to customers and reach them not only in face-to-face, but virtually. So for sure at the conferences and everything, we want to keep promoting that.
Sure, sure. So where do you see J.R. Smith's and the Morris Group's largest area of growth coming up? And is there a specific geographical area that you guys are targeting or feel like you need to continue to grow in? What do you see there?
Well, yeah, I mean, from a geography where we sell, I guess number one, we're in North America, Europe, Australia, and the Middle East. So that's kind of the core of where we're at. Some of our biggest core areas, I mean, when you look across the package that we have, we're focused on our fixture package quite a bit. We've added a lot of new products with the COVID-19 around hand washing, a lot of new products within our water cooler bottle filler area. We're going to follow the money. We'll talk, we can get into some of the different areas and where the money's going. But really, most of our package was done organically as a private company that we are, and we have a lot of market share to grow there. So I would tell you, really, the fixture line that we're in, the water control lines, is probably the biggest opportunity for growth. Drainage, there's still opportunities there as well. The vacuum system, that's still a product line we've had for a bit, but we need to continue to educate around because it gives such flexibility to the contractors.
Sure, sure. Okay. How's business been just in general? With everything that's going on the last couple of years, how have you guys fared through this?
It's business has been good. I mean, despite COVID and the shutdowns, we finished 2020 in a good spot. We had growth. I think we're on track out of the gate this year with some strong growth. Of course, there was a couple of months and geographies across the country, where it kind of shut down for quarters. And, those are absolutely growing right now as things start to release and the pent-up demand starts to come through. So 2021 looks very good. And I think with the product lines that we've rolled out, we're set up for good growth for a lot of years, and especially.
Mark, I lost you there, buddy.
Into 2021, 2022.
Yeah, we kind of, seen the same thing here.
Still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah, it froze for a second, but
okay. Yeah, we've kind of seen the same thing here. Our business really has not slowed down at all. It never really did through COVID. What I'm starting to see now, I'm starting to see a shift in some business into, different industries, if you will. But all in all, I mean, we were well positioned, and I think we had one job during COVID that shut down. It was a hospital job in West Texas, but it since has started back up and moving forward. So I mean, all in all, we were actually pretty lucky. I think as an industry and then as a company, we were really lucky not to suffer too big of an impact through this whole COVID deal. So you kind of answered, my next question was going to be you said 2021 looks good, and I'll tell you, our backlog is solid through this year. How does 2022 look? What do you guys see out there the next few years? Are you bullish or what are you seeing?
Well, I mean, I guess a little cautious at this point. I mean, I think, when we're looking at the different types of markets and what's going on out there, you got office, hospitality, all super soft at this point, with remote working and lack of travel. Hopefully it starts to pick up as we get the vaccines coming through. But on a brighter note, we do see the pent-up demand coming through. It's flowing nicely. There's some earmarked money around institutional and government and school, I think, coming through with stimulus. And the healthcare has been solid, and those are where we play. On top of that, the architectural index for the last 4 months has been really strong. It's starting to come back, so there's a lot of planning in the hopper, and we're in a pretty good position. With like I said, opportunities for share gain as well. So we're cautious, but we do expect growth from this year to next. So
Yeah,
that's kind of
and
where
we're
we're at.
seeing the same thing here in Texas. I tell you, I'm seeing a lot of manufacturing projects, high tech work. Just, we're doing a big, we're doing a big plant that makes dog food, if you can imagine that, and it's a huge project. So we're seeing a lot of those kind of deals. Healthcare still looks really strong to me. I agree with you. I think we're going to continue to see a lot of. I think we're going to see a lot of university work in, laboratory type projects coming up. It can be tough for a while for hospitality and office type construction, but there's a lot of sectors that I think are going to really flourish in the next couple of years. So we're doing our best to, stay on top of the trends and stay out in front of it all for sure. So, and that was, you pretty much answered my next question was, anything outside of what we talked about, whether it be oil and gas or any other industries that y'all targeted, or pretty much y'all just kind of stay in your sweet spot with manufacturing, healthcare, and those type projects?
Yeah, I mean, the work that's out there, you're looking at, obviously commercial warehouse is going crazy, with the Internet of Things and everybody buying from Amazon and all that. Warehousing is going crazy, and we've got some really good products that tie into there very well. Some vacuum systems, those type of things. So that's a nice space for us. And yeah, like I said, the healthcare, pharmaceuticals, very good. There's lots of stainless and other projects on there. Food production, grocery, that's strong. Data centers. So those are some of the industries we've keyed in on. And again, I think they should be strong at least through 2022 at this point, and that's kind of where we're focused to go after it.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about what's, I think, is on kind of everybody's mind right now. Give me your opinion on the causes of, well, why we're seeing so much volatility with commodities right now. That has got everybody kind of on edge for sure. What do you guys see as being the root causes there?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot to do with it. I mean, we're seeing, I could say from an increase standpoint, we're seeing it all across the board. So we really are a true manufacturer. If we're not running our plants and we're not buying material consistently, there's not product coming out. It's not, there's some source material, but a lot of it's made right in house. And so we're seeing increases in steel and stainless steel, brass and nickel, cast iron, lumber, paint, resin. So everything we're dealing with from our manufacturing facility, we're seeing it. And, I think it's due really to, there's lots of material shortages. There's tariffs. We're seeing freight increases. There's surcharges coming across. And I think a lot of the shortages is really, there's a lot tied to labor at this point. I think it's affecting the raw material production, and you definitely hear about it with steel and the different mills, and you hear about it with lumber, and they're not adding capacity, they're raising the price, and and that shipping containers, if you are importing, that's an issue right now. But yeah, I think it's really the capacity, not they're not adding it right now. These different mills as demand increases. What do you
Yeah.
guys
Well,
see?
it's a daily struggle here. We've got, here just in the North Texas area, we've got three fairly significant hospital projects that are starting up right now. And, we have daily discussions here, and for a while, I was telling everybody, hey, let's buy what we need and let's sit tight, because I think a lot of this volatility is going to work itself out over the next few months, I hope. But now it's becoming an issue of there's a lot of concern. Look, if we don't get that material now, it may not be available for a while. And so it's kind of turned into I mean, we talk daily here about what do we need, what should we do, and opinions change, every day. We kind of take a different path, but it's on everybody's mind. And I worry more about just the supply chain and the availability of getting our hands on material than I do maybe the volatility in price.
Yeah,
Because I think that'll work itself out. I'll give you an example. We're doing a big manufacturing job where we've got a bunch of large industrial pumps on. And we really need these pumps, by, probably late summer timeframe. Well, we placed the order on these pumps back several months ago, and they originally told us that, hey, they should be able to ship them to us mid-July, and it was going to time out, just right. Then they came back to us and said, now we're looking mid-August, and we were like, okay, we're getting tight now. And now they've come back and said 26 weeks. And really, when we got to digging into it, they couldn't get the motors. And the owner had requested a specific, brand of motor, right? And so it was really the motors that was holding this order up. And we eventually got the owner involved, and we said, look, this is where we're at. I mean, it's a great owner too. So they jumped in with this, and they're helping, helping deal with the manufacturer, and probably may end up having to find an alternate solution. But, those are the kind of things that scare me more than just price volatility.
yeah,
So
I can tell you. I mean, yeah, there's really no consistency around increases right now from pricing. We continue to buy at today's levels because we have to maintain our inventory and make sure we're manufacturing.
that's right.
If our plants aren't running, then we're not making money. So we're bringing in the material. I guess you highlighted something important there around having it when you need it. I can tell you one of the nice things about being a part of Morris Group and J.R. Smith is we pride ourselves on carrying strong inventories, having it when you need it. Although we can't control at what price you're going to get it based on the way the volatility and all the increases right now are, we'll have it when you need it. And we are keeping strong inventories right now at really record levels. So we'll be able to supply it, ship it complete, ship it on time, and hopefully you don't run into any of our issues like that with our products that you're seeing, so you miss out. So.
And that's huge because, these suppliers that are leaning or, counting on some other manufacturing process in the system. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get at this point. So, and I guess we're lucky. I mean, right now, our jobs seem to be going well. We're working for great customers that understand what's going on in the marketplace, but it's probably not that easy in certain parts of the country. I mean, a lot of people, flat look you in the eye and say a contract's a contract, and so it's been an interesting last few months that, and I think you're right. I think a lot of it is just labor shortages, with people that haven't made it back from the pandemic or whatever. But hopefully, the ship gets righted here real soon. So, what advice would you give someone like Dynamic Systems on like these three hospital jobs? I mean, do you have, what would you tell me? I mean, in terms of,
Wow.
would you go out there and just procure at today's prices the whole job and try to start getting it in, or would you kind of look a little more short term and hope that some of these, prices start to write themselves out? I don't know. I mean, it's a tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, number one, we don't anticipate shortages for our products, throughout 21, 22. Like I said, we're always, we pride ourselves engineering, manufacturing, maintaining safety stock levels. We want to control our destinies, take care of our partners. But I would tell you this, on the other side of it, as a partner, or if we got a project with you, communications more important than ever between us, the wholesalers, you guys talking about counts and schedules and all that type of thing. I would, if you had projects with us, I would say, let's get counts and submittals. And, if you have the ability to bring it in store material, that's your best bet from all the pricing volatility that we've got in the market. And then going forward, bring in what you can. We're more than happy to pull the material, stage it, have it sitting there for you, but there could be price escalation, as it comes through. So the earlier you can buy what you've got right now, I think you're going to buy at probably a better number than you would going out 6 months or so at this point, from what we're seeing.
And for the most part, that's what we're trying to do, is trying to corner as much material as we can and store it, but it's a challenge for sure. So what industry changes do you see coming for contractors and distributors in the near future?
I missed that. It froze up on me again.
Oh, okay, no worries.
No,
I just asked a question. What
Go ahead.
industry changes do you see coming for contractors and distributors in the near future?
Oh, it's a good question. Yeah, I mean, we just talked about it, but material is kind of king right now from our standpoint as the manufacturer. I know it's harder than ever to anticipate the pricing that things are coming through, planning and getting in front of schedules with the way COVID's been, and now, trying to catch up. I know that you guys are having to, adjust on the fly. So again, like I said, we try to keep high inventories so we can meet your demand. And the earlier we can talk and work on the project together and what kind of schedules you have, probably the better. So I'd say probably one is material. Other changes that I've seen, prefabrication is huge. I know you guys have a real nice fabrication facility. You guys do a lot of the good pre-construction and modeling and detailing ahead of time. I'm seeing more and more contractors trying to get into that across the country, and really why, you guys know the value of it, controlling your labor, safety, quality control, all those type of things, especially when, I don't think it happened in Texas, but if you were in the Northeast, you were getting, having real tough coordination efforts and scheduling out when you can and can't be on the site and when you can and can't work based on that. And so that drove a lot of it, so you can continue to produce, right? Not miss time. So for sure. And I think we do a really good job, especially with J.R. Smith, at fitting into kind of your workflow, from, having all the fab shop tools that you need, like the modeling, to detail it out, and their products are, very easy to install. There's labor saving qualities to everything. And then the other really nice thing, like I said, whether you're in a fab shop or on the job site, we'll tailor our deliveries to do, to save you time and money, and you receive it one time and get to work.
Yeah.
So that's one of the big things.
Yeah.
And more on that is, single. Everybody wants to touch things less and less, right? So everybody's trying to create efficiency, and that's one of our strengths. Like I just mentioned, you'll get it the first time, you'll get it on time, and it'll be complete. And what's nice for, distributors, contractors, is you can order it and count on it to be there and get to your next project without having to babysit anything.
Yeah, no doubt.
So those are kind of the things I'm seeing.
Yeah, the type products and services you guys provide is so vital to us as a plumbing contractor. I look at these hospital jobs and it always amazes me that, when you break the job down between, plumbing, HVAC piping, ductwork, equipment, subcontracts, controls, plumbing's always, when you look at the bit, it's always a relatively small piece of the pie, but it's also where your most exposure is. I'm telling you, from a labor standpoint, the plumbing on some of these jobs will eat your lunch if you're not careful, from a labor standpoint. And so we focus very hard on pre-planning. Well, not only just plumbing, but the entire job. But man, I'm telling you, you've seen what we do in the shop from a plumbing prefabrication standpoint, and it's vital to the success of like a hospital job. I mean, there's no question. And we probably don't use people like yourself enough to where, when we're doing the pre-planning part of one of these complex jobs, we probably need to do a better job of bringing a Mark or someone from J.R. Smith or the Morris Group down to say, okay, what can we do? Let's just start rolling out plans and looking at the way this thing's laid out. What kind of products and what can we do to kind of streamline, take as much of this work off site as we can? We need to do a better job probably using resources like what you guys can provide. That's for sure. But it's
Yeah, and that's some of the coaching, we've done with, we're trying to get to our reps to do it on a local level, especially when there's a partner like DSI. And yeah, I mean, we love to do that and love to work with you on a project by project basis. And most of the time, we can help you make some more money by,
sure.
being coordinated and together. So,
For sure. And then just labor in general right now, I'm telling you, a lot of people probably are aware of kind of what's going on, say like in Austin, Texas right now, where you've got a couple monster jobs going on down there that are attracting the majority of the labor. And they're also pulling labor from various parts of Texas and even from out of state, right? Because they're working tons of overtime and whatnot, and so it's putting a lot of pressure on some of the smaller jobs in our markets, like these little hospital jobs. Those are the ones that we worry about because a lot of that skilled labor is chasing, they're chasing an overtime job and jobs that are paying some incentives and whatnot. So it's important to us right now. We have got to find ways to be more efficient in our shops and what we're doing from a prefabrication standpoint because labor is just, it's just not there right now. I mean, so anyway, it's an ongoing issue that we fight with all the time, but we'll get through it. Makes every time we go through a period like this, it makes us stronger. I'm convinced of that. And what I worry about as a union contractor, I've seen it for years. We lose more market share during good times than we do bad times. I've seen it, man, because of the issue that I just talked about right now. And if you don't continue to service the markets that are really kind of your daily bread and butter, right? The hospitals, the laboratories, the little manufacturing facilities, if you don't continue to service those, someone else is going to step in and do it for you. So it's a constant struggle that we deal with. So.
yeah, I agree with the tightening up piece too in this tough environment and with the COVID, it forces you to be better. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
no question. So how much does J.R. Smith and the Morris Group invest in the development of products and services? How much do y'all have engineers that are looking back there, looking at, stuff like carriers and drains and say, okay, what can we do that's, would make this easier from a labor standpoint or whatever? Do y'all invest in a lot of those kind of
Yeah.
engineering type services or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We're always trying to think of the next thing. We like to look at the more common items that are out there, your common carriers and your roof drains, and try to figure out where we can improve, how we can save time. We like to work with contractors across the country to really develop and validate ideas and really talk to them and get as close to the customer as possible, and listen to them and react. And as we're developing products, especially around J.R. Smith, it really starts with most of the focus being around reducing steps, saving labor. Form and function definitely have to be there, but the focus is really, like you said, saving time. Drains are a nice animal. You talked about, how critical labor is in plumbing. Drains are one of those products where it's an opportunity to pick up a lot of labor, as long as it shows up on time and complete. And then there's some easier way of putting it in the ground. Most of the time you can, lay it out, put it in concrete and walk away. And so we try to just focus on where we can save a lot of time for you there, whether it's through the product or the delivery. We're looking at those things. Okay. So yeah, we've got a pretty good funnel of projects, and we look at all the key categories and, try to decide where we can improve and cut time for you guys.
Great. So what type of technical support, whether it be, instructional videos, and like I brought up, the specifications deal that I was kind of cruising through on the Morse Group's website. What kind of technical services are out there for contractors like Dynamic Systems to use as a resource?
Well, I can tell you one of the things we've done a ton of is what we're doing right here. Now, I think COVID, we've always been doing webinars and virtual meetings, but more internally. Now we've really taken it externally to the customer. We had a whole year of having to reach the customer through virtual, and our engineering teams have gotten very good. And we offer that service now, where if you need it on site, it's very easy for you guys to pick up your iPhone or your tablet and patch in virtually and show us what you're seeing. And we can have our experts on the line with you to review any, assembly, installation questions, troubleshooting, startups, any of those type of things. So that's something we really added to our repertoire this past year. But on top of that, we do, training all the time. Again, we've enhanced it with the virtual training that's available. All of our products, especially all of our key items, have installation support manuals, submittals, ITM, and Revit files. We're working with your group on WebLem right now. I think it's Nick. Within the MCAA, I know that's a big platform, so we're looking at products right now with them to make sure we're integrated into your catalogs. All the technical support, you mentioned our website, it's loaded down pretty good there as you go to each product. We have YouTube videos showing the installations, like I said, job site visits live. I know most of us guys that are field sales, we like to get out and see the customer, and whether it's on the site or at their place. So we're excited to do a little bit of that after a lot of video conferencing. But yeah, there's a lot of tools available. Again, I think for us, we like to establish our partners on the contractor side and then go all in together. Who are guys that support us, and we'll support them, and then we can win together. And so that makes it much easier to support, to go that extra.
Yeah. I'm always a big fan of, personal daily relationships, right, with customers and whatnot. And, that'll never change with me. But, I tell you what, one thing that, COVID did for us as a company, I look at what we're doing through just like what you described with web meetings, and we've even as a company now are, done a good job on putting internal training videos out there. Because the reality is when you try to schedule some kind of a training class, right, and you're trying to get 40, 50 people into this class, you're never going to coordinate a good time for people. So, we've gone the route of doing training videos and posting them on what we call DSIU, where you can go at your own leisure when you've got some time and go through these training courses and whatnot. So it's been interesting for me to watch, we as a company grow through COVID, and it was a horrible situation for everybody. Don't get me wrong, but I can write down, all the negatives that came out of, what we experienced in the last year, and there's a lot. There's no question, a lot of suffering and sickness and whatnot. And then I can write down a lot of positives that came out of it, and there's a lot more positives than what you think. It forced us into, in my opinion, like the next century for us. So it's been good from that standpoint to see how far we've come, just with technology just in the last year. We were always on the cutting edge when it came to BIM and prefabrication and pre-planning. But if you would have told me a year and a half ago, hey, you need to jump on a web meeting with Russell Raymond, Brent Bertrand, and Greg Sider, I would have looked at you like a deer in the headlights. I'd have been, I've been reaching for the phone, So anyway, it's kind of forced us to, to get more productive. I mean, like this morning, I had an estimate review with our team here that took probably 20 minutes. Whereas a year and a half ago, it would have taken an hour, I promise you, because it would have taken us 15 minutes to get everybody herded into the conference room. And then we would have fumbled around with the damn computer for about 10 minutes. And then we would have finally got to business. And, those type meetings, we used to have a couple, 2 or 3 a day. Now we might do 6, and we fly through them. They're very productive. So, outside of that, I still like spending time with our customers in person. I think you're wired that way. I know you were here not long ago, and I don't think you can ever let that go. But some of the stuff that we're doing with technologies is pretty cool, man, for sure. So
no, it's a balance, and the stuff that alignment and discussions around projects, and just think of the stuff, when you got logistics involved and you got to go to a customer meeting on the project on the site, and now you don't have to get in your car. I mean, all those little things like that, it's changing. And then definitely intercompany. There's so much intercompany you can do and just stay at your desk and stay productive. But yeah, definitely face to face is good as well. It's a balancing act. I think
that's right.
We all kind of developed a new tool here with the virtual.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what would you say is the greatest benefit of being a member of the MCAA Manufacturer and Supplier Council?
Well, I would tell you, the members within MCAA, I think, are leaders in their markets. And when you're part of the council, you guys tend to drive some of the most cutting edge, technology. You follow the trends very well around what's happening in the industry. So being around the council members and learning, where they're heading, that definitely helps us with our company and sets our direction. Also, I think, partnering with MCA members also gives us a good guide around new ideas and products as well. And the best part is we're an equal member. We come to the meetings. It's not, here's the contractor piece, here's the manufacturing piece. We share ideas. Quite frankly, it's nice to hear what the other manufacturers are doing as well. It's not just a closed session. So, I think, if you are part of it and you participate and you are engaged, there's a lot of good that comes out of it. If you're, within MCAA and you're just kind of showing up and presenting a product or something like that, you're probably not getting a lot out of it. But I know we do, and we listen closely and pay attention, and we use the tools on the website. And, when we're looking for help or ideas or any type of direction, it's good to reach out to the MCAA members because they give really good guidance.
That's an interesting comment you made about, you learn, from your competitors, and I've always said I learn more about our industry from our competitors, and which is the relationships that I built with contractors around the country through MCAA is incredible. And we all go through the same kind of problems, right? So, it's really easy for me to, pick up the phone and call, a Robert Beck up in New York and say, Robert, hey man, this is something we're dealing with down here. Have y'all experienced this? And 9 times out of 10, oh yeah, we've been there and done that, and it's good to have that, resource there to reach out to people, not only a competitor, at the end of the day, they're a good friend too, right? And I'm amazed at what I learned from our manufacturers and suppliers about industry trends, what kind of work they see coming up. I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of times you guys are closer to the design firms than we are, and so it's always great to have that relationship with you guys to where we can help each other. I mean, for sure. So yeah, and I can't think of a better platform than MCAA to foster those relationships. That's for sure.
For sure.
So,
Absolutely.
All right. So my last and final question: what do you think differentiates you guys from your competitors with what you do at the end of the day?
I would tell you this, being a privately held manufacturer, we resource within the company pretty well. I mean, we're always driving to be, focused on the customer. Service is paramount. Nothing starts without performing to our customers. We do a lot of manufacturing in the USA, so we control our own destiny. We like to say we make our own stuff and control our own destinies, and that's important to us. So we really believe in that model: engineer, manufacture, and deliver and perform. That's kind of our motto. I'd say we have unmatched inventories. I've lived in other worlds and don't run into issues with deliveries or long lead times. We pretty much, when we commit to something, we do what we say. And we know time is money, so the number one way to save you guys time and labor is to complete our shipments on time and accurately. And if we do what we say and perform, then we're in good shape. So we really, being private, we've got lots of new products all the time. We do a lot organically. We're flexible. We shift gears quickly. And then we like to carry inventory and deliver well. And that's that's probably our strength.
That's it, it's kind of funny you say that, because when I do a presentation, when we're interviewing for projects or whatnot, I've got what I call a closing slide, right? And it's always titled Why DSI. And my number one bullet point on that, outside of safety and some of our core values, is when we tell you we're going to do something, we're going to do it. I promise you. In 30 years, we've never not met that commitment, right? So, and we would rather turn down a job than risk not performing for our customer. And it's exactly what you just said. So, I mean, if you guys keep up that, you're going to do just fine. I promise you. So,
it's nice. Appreciate that.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, Mark,
Rick, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate you guys giving us the time. Thank you to MCAA again for having us on this platform. Pretty new to this, but it was very good, I think. Good experience.
You did great, man. Well, we appreciate everything you guys do for our industry. We certainly appreciate your support of MCAA, and we look forward to having you around for many years, all right?
Okay, I appreciate it, Rick. Thanks, man.
Okay, Mark, have a great weekend, all right?
All right, you too. I'll see you.